Welcome back to Character Select. I am Tyler, and with me is Mal.
What's up?
Havoc. We are playing Steve Jackson's Sorcery, and you have just reclaimed some beeswax from the bees.
Beeswax
and it is
and
in
honey.
Your rations here. You can eat your honeycomb or your 4 meals, but
Now-
you also have in your magical items 2 quantities of beeswax.
So that allows 2 castings of that spell.
Yes,
The-
2 castings of the spell Raz, which now that you can cast it, it shows up as gold text.
I figured it was that. Now, one of the things I did have a question on, you said the rations only restore a single stamina, correct?
If you eat them, in your inventory, it might do more, I can't remember, but you get more benefit out of it from eating them at the end of the day.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well then, let us continue on to the high path then.
The high route seems the most secure. In a valley, you can be easily observed from above and led astray. But out in the hills, you can go whichever way you choose. Of course, when night falls, it may be cold and exposed up on the slopes. But no matter, this journey was never destined to be easy. You begin the climb, letting the old man's jabbering fade quickly away. The path winds upwards into the hills and into the cover of a wood. The afternoon sun glints through the trees and plays tricks on your eyes. Every so often you catch a glimpse of some strange-shaped animal or other watching you, only to find that it is a silhouette of branches and leaves caught at an odd angle. After an hour's walk, you are starting to feel hungry.
Stop and eat.
Alright, so that healed 2 stamina.
Mhm.
You clamber to the top of a low stone dolmen, and then sit and pull out the sugary honeycomb and eat, while admiring the view down the hillside through a break in the trees. You feel better for your rest.
Time to move on.
You stand and put on your pack, on which you had been sitting to prevent any creatures getting in or any of your things falling out. Then you return to the path. The climb continues, with the path twisting this way and that. The air grows cold and the sun flickers on the horizon, then sets, making it hard to see your way. But the moon is full, and when twilight is done, it will be bright once more. Would you like to make camp for the night, or would you like to keep walking?
Oh, also. Okay, that's the real thunder. As soon as he said, the sky grows dark, all of a sudden I heard, rumbling thunder, and I was like, what? That's here at my house. It's like,
Lovely.
What the hell? So it's getting dark. I guess let's go ahead and make camp.
Alright, make camp it is. But to tire yourself out on the first day would be inauspicious. You settle down to make a camp for the night and in a natural shelter provided by the roots of 3 gigantic intertwined trees. Your backpack will serve for a pillow and your cloak for a blanket. Before settling to sleep, you check through your pack. You have 4 rations left. Would you like to eat another meal or sleep?
We'll go ahead and eat the meal. I went ahead and bought 4 of them.
That one only healed 1.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, what the heck is
You
it?
take a quantity of your cheese and bread from your backpack and eat it. That done, you settle down to rest. The moon is full and high in the sky when next you open your eyes. You feel warm and more cozy than you did before, as if wrapped in a gigantic blanket. There's a pain in your leg. Slowly you realize what is happening. A giant bat has settled on your chest and is feeding from your leg.
That is... What the heck is that? So it's I see the bat up at top, but then... it's
More bats. They have
gobos,
really...
and, wolf thingies.
Yeah.
So... I guess... Let's see what spells we've got available. Cast a spell.
Alright, we have Gum, which we need a vial of glue. We have Law, which controls non-intelligent creatures for 3 stamina. We have Big, which makes you really big for 1 stamina. We have Jig, which causes lively dancing, but we need a bamboo flute. And Madge, which protects from magic.
Damn, don't really have anything I was looking to use.
Could just fight it.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and kill the bat.
Okay, kill the bat. You draw your sword slowly and carefully, hoping not to disturb the creature before you can run it through, but no such luck. It leaps back in alarm. but this thing is weak as shit, so we're just going to do 5 here, which is the maximum it can do. And it's going to defend, so it takes 1. And then we just do 5 again. And then cut it again.
Is dead.
The creature is now afraid. Swinging up from a low crouch, you aim for the beast's heart. The bat falls to the ground and the light in its eyes goes dark. The bat is dead.
Fighting.
You toss its carcass back into the woods, and now truly exhausted, you lie back and sleep.
Yeah.
You've gained more stamina. Once again, the crown fills your dreams, only now, instead of being hidden away in Mampang Fortress by the Archmage, you see it on the head of the burly villager from Cantopani. Anyone can wear a crown, he declares to you, but wearing the crown, you are no longer just anyone. And he then points a finger at you that seems to crackle with energy, and you find yourself drawn towards him, commanded to do his bidding. Suddenly, you are surrounded by angry bees. Bees! You are walking towards a crack in the ground. It seems sure to swallow you whole. You stumble at its edge, about to fall.
And you wake up.
The second day of your journey begins in the morning cool. Still halfway between sleeping and waking, you feel the presence of your spirit, the gorilla, close by. Its form has changed since you left Analand, just as you have changed, but it is still walking beside you. In the temple, they taught you that a prayer to your spirit could heal disease, lift curses, even save you from certain death. But spirits are not generous and decline to help often. So now we can use the spirit's aid using pray. Which will give you... It can give you, I believe, up to 4 stamina back, but it will also get you out of a tight scrape if you...
Need it, yeah.
If you need it. So... You can feel yourself getting accustomed to the fetid air of these hills. You have now ascended several hundred feet and can expect to make excellent progress before the end of the day. As you crest the brow of the hill, you see something that makes you stop in your tracks. To your left is a clearing, and in the clearing are several poles planted firmly in the ground. And atop each pole is a head.
Look at the heads.
The heads are of all kinds and ages. Some are recently fixed, while others have decayed, and some are nothing but skulls and hair. They are human heads, goblin heads, and 1 or 2 heads of creatures you do not recognize. All have sewn-up eyes and mouths. A large X planted on a rock nearby is obviously intended as a warning not to venture any further, but ahead the road forks left and right, and you cannot be sure which path you are warned not to take. The right-hand path continues to climb, and the left-hand path winds down the side of the hill. So we can go down the river towards this village, or up the hill towards the mine.
And I'm assuming the heads are those 3 little dots that are just below us there?
Could be, yeah.
I guess we'll continue the climb.
Alright, we're going to climb up towards the Shanker Mines. The climb continues up the next hill for several hours until you are not far from the top. Then the faint sound of bustling activity reaches you, tramping feet, grunting voices, and the clanking of metal against rock. There is something ahead, hidden by the ancient trees that line these slopes.
Follow the sound.
You leave the path and continue through the woods. A short distance onward, you hide behind a tree and survey a clearing. A number of goblins are in the clearing, working at the mouth of an open cave. They trudge in and out of the opening, carrying large bowls in their arms, piled up with glistening rocks and dull metallic nuggets.
What is the... Okay, so one of them says, watch them work, leave them to it, make a break for the cave. Watch them work a little more.
Okay. You stay hidden, getting a sense of the scale of the operation. There are at least 30 goblins inside the cave, each coming out every few minutes or so with a new pail of stones. Then there are other goblins working in the clearing with hammers, smashing the rocks into small pieces, extracting metals from inside, loading them into carts, and finally pushing the carts away down a wide track between the trees. It's quite some operation, but not without its weaknesses. There are too many goblins to create any kind of distraction, but they move away into the trees fairly often, and sometimes the cave is left unguarded. Do you try to slip inside the cave, or do you leave the mine and return to the path?
Let us try to slip inside the cave.
You got it. You creep closer, moving around the side of the hill, nearer to the entrance of the cave. Then, when all is quiet, you seize your chance and race across the clearing to the mouth of the cave. You pause a moment at the cave mouth, but no one has seen you. Following the passage cautiously, you move between the cool rock walls of the mine, passing and ignoring ladders that lead down into the clamoring heart of the mine, where 100 goblins sing as they work. Eventually, you reach a junction.
My goodness.
Do you go right, or do you go left?
And there's no indication at all.
Nope. But you may be able to cast a spell.
Yes, let's see if we can cast How.
Does not give you the option to cast How.
What were the options that were available?
Right or left.
Well, no, the spellbook options.
Well, I can't actually cast the spell here. It doesn't give me the option to do it.
Damn. Alright. I guess we will try going... Let me flip a coin. We'll go right.
Alright. Very good. You follow the passage to the right. It twists around deeper into the hillside and ends in a sealed wooden door.
Try the door.
You try the door. Locked.
Cast a spell.
What spell would you like to cast?
But let's cast Dop.
Dop it is. You cast the spell and the door shudders as its lock turns over, and then the handle moves of its own accord. On your guard, you watch as it swings open. The room beyond is large and appears to be a storeroom of some kind. In one corner is a pile of black rocks, and more rocks are held in a bucket nearby. These flicker with a dull, glistening light. But most intriguing of all is what stands at the center of the space, a mechanical apparatus, perhaps a press or stone cutter, being operated by a large and powerful ogre.
Look at that picture. I have never seen an ogre depicted like that.
He does not, for the moment, seem to have noticed you.
This is a tough call. I wish there was an active DM I could ask relevant questions about. So instead, we're going to watch him work for a moment.
Okay. Certain he has not noticed your sudden arrival in the room, you stay in the shadow and watch as the ogre goes about his task. He is dropping stones from the black pile into the end of the machine, and turning a heavy handle crunching the rock. Something is coming out the other side. To see what, you'd have to approach him, as he is between you and the outlet of the machine.
Approach the ogre.
Alright. Boldly, you step out of the doorway and into the pool of candlelight that fills the room. The ogre stops working immediately and turns to face you, growling incomprehensibly like the slug he is.
Wow.
You will not be able to reason with him.
Harsh words. Let's cast a spell. Calling an ogre
got it.
a slug.
Alright, so we can do dim, which makes him stupid.
Cause stupidity. Wow.
We can do we can do rock, but we don't have stone dust. We don't have K. We can do wall to create an invisible wall. We can do walk, which creates a shield. And that is it.
Let us do dim.
Dim it is. You cast a spell and wait for it to take effect. The ogre lunges, but then stops, shaking its head, looking at you, then itself with a puzzled expression. It takes a step forward, then back. It is thoroughly confused.
I don't know.
Do you kill it, pinch something and run, or leave?
Let us try to kill it. Let's see.
Since you have dimmed it, it is a lot weaker than it normally would be.
Yeah, I figured that. I was like, 7 stamina. I was like, there is no damn way.
Blah, blah, blah. We're going to cut. And then we're going to cut again. And And I think we can get him... Yep.
Oh, wow.
Cool. No life lost. You cleave into his side. He gurgles unhappily as he slumps to the floor. You breathe a sigh of relief. You are still alive. While the dying ogre heaves his last breath, you investigate the room. Do you try out the machine or search the table?
Will we get to do both is the question. Try out the machine.
Okay. Going over to the enormous machine, you try cranking the handle to see what happens, but you simply do not have the strength to make it move. Following the tubes and chutes of the machine, you discover a large gem, an emerald about the size of your fist. It should be good for trade around the value of 10 gold pieces.
Nice.
You place it carefully into your bag.
Search the table.
You look through the heaps of rocks on the table to see if any catch your eye, but they all seem fairly ordinary.
Darn.
Do you leave or search the corners of the room?
Search the corners of the room. I was going to hope for stone dust, but...
Moving to the corners of the room, you do a careful sweep. After a few minutes, you come across something soot-covered but solid. Wiping it with your tunic, you find it is a second large gem, which you take. You've searched the room thoroughly now. It is time to be going before someone comes to find the ogre. You head back to the fork in the passage. The sunlight from outside is very tempting.
Yep, let's take it.
So, we have two emeralds worth 10 gold pieces each. So we have 22. So,
yeah,
do you want to go down the left fork, or do you want to leave the mine?
No, let's not get greedy.
Okay.
I wanted to just get a little treasure to help subsidize our journey. Let's go.
We got plenty of treasure. So, you creep back out from the cave and avoid being noticed, leaving the mine behind you and continue along a path with tall trees either side.
By a bridge.
You follow a path that leads sharply downhill into a narrow valley in which a stream runs. There is no path along the bank, but there is a bridge.
Inspect the ropes and planks.
You test the ropes. They seem to be firm. If this is a trap, it's not one that will dump you into the stream, but you could always struggle through the vegetation on the bank and try and find a fording point.
Let's use the bridge.
Okay. Moving slowly and with one hand on your sword hilt, expecting the boards to give way at any moment, you inch across. The bridge holds, and you reach the other bank quite safely. You now have a long walk ahead of you, along the ridge and through a light covering of trees.
Righty.
So we're heading towards Towser Ridge here.
Heading towards Kiristani.
Mm-hmm. The path climbs again up a low hill, covered over with thick bushes and shrubs that snag at your clothing. Halfway up, you hear a sound. Twigs breaking.
Freeze.
You freeze as a large creature the size of a bear emerges directly in front of you. It has black and white fur and a long bushy tail that trails out behind. It growls menacingly.
Is that a fucking skunk beast?
Skunk bear, yes.
Try to edge around it.
Alright, you try and edge around it. Perhaps if you are careful, you can slip around it. Do you edge around to the left or edge around to the right?
Which direction did it come from?
Down the path up ahead.
Edge around to the left.
Alright. Leaving the main trail, you slip through the shrubs around the creature. Its patch is clearly the square of dirt through which the path leads. It watches you to ensure that you don't come too close, but it doesn't attack. After a few minutes of this, you are on the other side and able to continue. The path leads down through another valley and back up another hill. 2 hours pass.
Yeah, I saw that picture and I was like, I want absolutely nothing to do with that.
No, you do not. The sun is now just past its zenith, and everywhere a dusty heat rises from the baked earth. You begin to think about where you will stay for the night. Another night sleeping out in the open would be best avoided. But then you see a small village set into the hill.
Look at it. I suppose this is Kiristanti. Yep.
Look, the smoke rises from the stacks. This must be Kristatanti. The houses are well set, with stones at their bases and thatched roofs of grasses and thick leaves. There is, unusually, more than just the one street running through the center of town. But it is as though this place, once rich, had its heart scooped away. Litter surrounds the buildings, and on the edge of the village are rows and rows of empty, abandoned houses. You continue your slow trudge along the path. So you can avoid the village, or you can enter the village.
Let us enter the village.
Right. You walk into the village. Young hill dwellers pass you and stare at your strange clothes.
Look at the people.
Their own attire is rough by comparison to your gear. They wear their hair long, but piled up on their heads. These people are ghastly poor. The village is like a ghost town, here on the knife edge of the backlands. So, would you like to go to an alehouse or rest at an inn?
Let us talk in the alehouse first.
Gotcha. Walking down the single road, you quickly find a hut with its front covering pulled wide open and the smell of brewed beer coming from inside. You go in. Several hill dwellers are here, talking gruffly. When you enter, they watch you with understandable caution. The owner of the hut comes over to you. "Welcome to Christianity," he declares. "What do you want?"
Greet the owner.
An evening's rest and a drink to wet my throat," you reply. "Ale's 1 gold piece," he answers. "Please, sit."
Sit with the
You
oldest.
go over to the table where the hill dwellers are.
Sit with the oldest man.
You turn your attention to the oldest man at the table. Whatever face he once had is lost in a labyrinth of wrinkles, and his skin is the color of tanned hide from a lifetime in the beating sun.
Greetings, old man.
He raises his mug and salute. "Stranger." His face is gravelly, like the dusty dirt that lines the streets of his town. "Where are you from?"
I come from Analander.
He nods. "Not as many past the Canterpony Gate. Neither direction, if you know what I'm saying."
I understand you.
He grins and picks his teeth with a fingernail. "You say there's a war coming. Something to do with a crown."
A crown?
You ask cautiously. "A crown of kings," he says. "They say it's how a leader leads. Without the crown on your head, no one will follow you. The crown can raise an army from the farmyard or command the population to walk into the sea." He shakes his head. "Sounds like a bad idea if you ask me. If someone's got to wear it, I'd rather they were in Analander than Mampang." You sip your beer, and the man exchanges glances with the younger man sitting opposite.
I guess ask the old man about the area.
"Can you tell me something about this region?" you ask. "Christianity? Certainly. I'll tell you around here, we're always glad to help out strangers."
Tell me what lies beyond this town.
"Beyond Christianity, there are 2 paths. One takes you past Aliana's home, and you'll need your wits about you if she's there. The other leads up into the hills in Liaki, domain of the Great Ones. Either way you choose, I wish the luck of Sindla on your journey."
Who is Sindla?
"God of hopeless causes," the man replies and laughs. The crowd in the inn is starting to thin out. You finish your beer in a single draft and get to your feet. You make to leave the inn, and the owner stops you, holding out his hand.
I'm wondering if we should pay him with a gem or the gold piece.
Up to you. Gems are 10 gold pieces each. You do have 2 gold pieces.
Yeah, pay him with a gold piece.
Okay. You pay him his gold piece and then step out into the street. You look this way and that, trying to decide what to do next, when you realize the old man has joined you once more. He grabs your shoulder and presses a fruit into your hand. "Bomba," he declares through fermented breath. "Grow myself. Good for the stomach." He pats your belly and then walks away, swaying slightly.
Look at the fruit.
You turn the old man's gift over in your hands. It is a thick-rinded fruit that keeps well and will be highly nourishing when you decide to eat it. Its only drawback is its incredible weight. It is now evening and time to sleep.
Okay.
We can sleep outside or find an inn.
Find an inn.
Alright. You stop a passerby and ask for an inn, and they lead you there directly. The woman who runs the place stands in the doorway with her arms folded. You from the king? She demands.
No, I'm a mere traveler.
You are on a mission from the king, though.
Okay.
But, no, I'm a mere traveler. The woman narrows her eyes at you. This is a guest house. Best in Cristatanti. Only guest stay, and any guest of mine knows it costs me 3 gold pieces to host a man overnight, and 2 to feed him. But it's all between friends. You do not have enough money for either.
Give her an emerald.
You can give her an emerald for room and board.
Yep. Give her
that is an entire 10 gold pieces. I forget if she gives you change. Would you like me to do that?
Yeah, see if she gives us change. If not, I don't know.
Okay. You produce one of your emeralds and wave it in front of the woman. Her eyes light up. I want you to treat me as you would a king, you declare. The woman nods quickly and snatches for the gem. Food is being served and your room is upstairs. You can have mine, she cries, rushing away to batter at her husband to get cleaning. You pace through into the main room where skunk bear stew is being served. Then you head upstairs to bed. It is of serviceable comfort.
Sleep.
And you got 2 more hit points. Your dreams are vivid once again. You're walking endlessly, the hills moving up and down under your feet like a rippling sea. Every step exhausts you, but no step moves you forward. Meanwhile, the food in your bag is rotting, wet through from the sweat of your back. And in the distance, a deep voice is booming with laughter. The long, cruel fingers of one hand are curled around the metal frame of a crown, and with the other he beckons you forward, as if into a trap.
Beyond Cristatanti.
You wake early and sit for a moment, in no great hurry to leave the village. This is now the 3rd day of your journey, and the muscles in your legs are feeling lean and strong from so much walking. You spend a short while enjoying the peace, and then unhurriedly collect your possessions and set off along the path. Cristatanti is surrounded by several miles of fields. It sits in a well-protected ring of hills, and is close enough to the river to be reasonably prosperous. As you follow the path between lines of sun-baked crops, you come to a fork in the road. The right-hand way leads past a set of outbuildings, while the left heads directly off into deep woodland.
I forget.
So, you can head up here through the Leah Key ruins, like the guy said, or you can head into the forest, where there was a woman named Eliana, but you head into Dumpus that way. You can head to Dumpus either way.
So either travel through some ruins or travel past someone who's probably a witch.
But maybe she's a good witch or maybe she's a bad witch. Who knows?
Yeah. We'll travel through the woods.
Okay. You do at least have a spell to protect you from magic.
Yeah.
You have mage. So. Alright, we're going to continue on into the woods. Your journey is too important to slow down by talking to locals. You must pass unseen, and so you disappear into the jungle of tall trees. For a short while, the sun is feverish, and then you are between the trees once more, and everything becomes cool and still. You walk for several hours uneventfully. This is land that was never settled or explored, and very few travel this way. In places, bushes and shrubs have grown over into the path.
Move cautiously.
You pick your way carefully forward, moving slowly but silently between the trees. If there are any beasts nearby, you should be able to wring their necks without them hearing you approach. Then you come to a fork in the road, still deep in the forest. Someone has thought to make a sign, perhaps as a guide or perhaps as a warning. The way to the right is marked for Dumpus. A left turn points to Aliana, a name you remembered from what the man in Cristatanti told you. Neither way seems the better trod. You will have to choose. Do you go to Aliana or do you go to Dumpus?
Every time I read Dumpus, it reminds me of Satisfactory Dumpus Junction.
It's kind of where I got the name from.
I figured it was. So it's like, I know where he got this. Let's go. Oh, my curiosity is probably going to get me killed. Let's go to Aliana.
Alright. The path winds between trees to get greener and more lush. You must be closer to the river here, although you cannot hear the water. After about half an hour's walk through dappled shade, you come across a well-built hut. Flowers decorate its walls, and a door has been painted with ornate designs. The path ends here.
I guess knock on the door.
You approach the door and knock. There is no reply.
Scout around it.
You perform a swift circuit around the hut, but find nothing unusual or concerning. It seems to be what it is, a hut, set by itself deep in the forest. But for someone to survive out here on their own, surrounded by the beasts of the jungle, they must be someone quite powerful. Do you turn back or do you open the door?
I don't know, I knocked and there was no answer. I do kind of want to meet Aliana just because my curiosity's poking at me. But... okay, we'll open the door.
Alright. You push open the door and stride inside. The hut is neatly laid out. You detect this touch of a fastidious woman. Chairs are set around a table as if for guests. A mattress lies in one corner, and a large kitchen area indicates that whoever lives here, they are fond of cooking. Do you call out or take what you can?
Call out.
Hello, is there anybody here? To your surprise, a voice quickly answers, Who's there? Who's that?
Locate the speaker.
Looking into a corner hidden by a large cupboard, you see a cage in which a young woman is imprisoned. Good stranger, she pleads, let me out of this cage, I beg you.
What happened to you?
You move over to the cage, quite shocked. What happened to you? Oh, good stranger, she wails. I've been locked up in here for 2 days. It was Elvins that did it, those mischievous, prankful Elvins. Please, you must help me. I have not eaten, and they left me here, where I can see all my cooking things, but cannot reach them.
I'll help you.
Going over to the cage, you try the door. It is locked, of course.
Use magic.
I'm assuming Dop.
Yep.
You should be grateful I waste my strength on you, you declare. Kind of a dick thing to say,
no,
but
it's
whatever.
like, wow, ass. way to be an ass. Yeah, if we can cast Dop, we'll do Dop it.
Boop. You cast a spell over the lock and it begins to shiver. Like a small beetle, it hums and clicks as the tumblers turn and work, and then finally snaps open and drops to the floor. The woman claps her hands in delight, and with the door open, she rushes out and throws her arms around you before backing off a pace and trying to regain her composure. Stranger, she declares, I am in your debt. Aliana will reward you. You take aid in combat or mastery of magic?
Now I'm going to ask you, since you're the one doing the combat things, how much is the combat increase? Or do you...
negligible.
Okay, so let's see if she gives us some more spell shenanigans. So magic.
Alright, so you want magic. Okay. Magic. Very well. She rushes quickly over to a wall and opens a panel you had not seen before and takes out a small box, which she places in your hands with a smile. No tricks, she says with a smile. All these things will aid you if you know how they are meant to be used.
Open the box. What's in the box?
You flip open the box. It contains a small vial of glue, a pair of strange-looking nose plugs, and 4 small pebbles.
Yep.
You pocket them and give back the empty box. The lady has been freed, and it seems like there is nothing much more to keep you here and from your quest.
Alright, then I will take my leave.
Okay. I must be on my way, you tell her. I have many more miles to cover today. She nods. Of course, please, before you go, and she holds out something. It is a small bag of coins.
Take it.
Okay. You bow your head and accept the gift. There are 7 gold pieces inside. And one more thing, she says. Moving around the table, she leans up to you and pecks you on the cheek, whispering, I am Aliana, the witch. I have killed a good many men with my sorcery, but I choose not to kill you today. Go in peace. Then she steps back, and her face is as soft and peaceful as it ever was. Did you imagine her words? Almost certainly not. Time, then, to leave. You step quickly outside, and you retrace your steps to the last junction, where you turn to take the path to Dumpus.
Dumpus Junction.
Dumpus Junction. You walk for several hours, following the twists and turns of the path through the trees. Then suddenly you stop. You have heard a noise up ahead. Something is moving around between the rocks at the edge of the path.
Wait and look.
You hang back, watching the trees. There's definitely something moving around. Something large and long with a tail that whips between the trees. But now that you've seen it, you're at a definite advantage.
Oh. If I try to cast a spell here, will I be able to attempt to creep around it later, is the question.
If it doesn't let you do it, I will reverse it for you.
Right.
So,
because I'm thinking we might be able to do a...
Alright, so if I do that, and then I take it back, yeah, you can you can look at the spells and then choose.
Alright. Do we have the spell that creates darkness?
We have causes slowness, we have Dop, we have Zap, we have Law, and we have Jig. We don't have Jig, we just have J. Yeah, we have Zip, which is unknown.
Zippity-doo-dah! Damn, what was the one that caused darkness? It wasn't dim. It was...
Fog.
Oh, shit, that's right. I thought it started with a D. We'll attempt to creep around it then.
Okay. The beast is off the path to the right, so if you creep through the tree line on the left, you may escape unnoticed. You try this tactic, moving slowly and carefully, making as little noise as possible, placing your feet with delicate care. After a few more yards, you're about to rejoin the path when the movement of the animal stops. It must have heard you, or caught your scent, and sure enough, a moment later it is upon you. In a flurry of foliage and dirt, a rat bear leaps from the undergrowth. It is much closer than you thought. Its sleek black fur allows it to hide in the shadows until it almost upon you.
Cast a spell.
Alright,
we
same spells.
Still have doze?
We do.
Yeah, hit him with doze.
Alright. You draw out the spell and the beast slows down, looking suddenly very sleepy and slow. At the speed, you do not even need to fight it. You quickly walk away.
Approaching Dumpus Junction.
The path winds for a few more times around gigantic trees thousands of years old, and then emerges onto a sudden plain as if the forest had been scooped away by a gigantic hand. A river trickles thinly between short grasses, and by its banks stands a tiny village.
Nice. I guess... Let's go into Dumpus. You seem...
Alright, we're going to enter the village, but we're going to enter that next time on CharacterSelect.
On CharacterSelect.
So thank you all very much. So thank you all very much for watching. Click that like button down below if you want to. Subscribe. Check out our Patreon, Discord, etc. All in the description. And Mal.
Yup.
What do you think you're going to find in Dumpus?
I don't know. With how infatuated you are with the name, I guess we'll see.
Fantastic.